Good morning, folks. This is Ben with Ben's Campers in Southwest Pennsylvania, and today we're going to talk about not only this 1972 Shasta Airflyte 14-foot travel trailer, but also vintage campers in general, and everything associated with them here in the year 2022, which has the last couple years has underseen quite a dramatic transformation of the entire vintage, camper market in general, but it's particularly these antique travel trailers. So I want to talk about some different things here. First of all, like I said, I'm Ben with Ben's Campers. My plan is to grow this channel here, get some more subscribers, and bring out a lot of content like this regarding campers. So if you do like this sort of thing, if you could please like this video and subscribe to me, I'd really appreciate it. So let's get into this one here. First thing I want to talk about, like I mentioned, is the market shift of campers and vintage campers. So I've been dealing with vintage campers, buying, selling, restoring, fixing for about 15 years, since I was a teenager. And when I first started dealing with trailers, the primary buyer of a vintage camper was somebody who was 70 plus years old, retired. Maybe they had one as a kid, wanted to kind of relive that. Maybe they had a classic car. The people that were into that sort of genre, hobby, people that are woodworkers, professional restorers. That was the market. A lot of it was in California, Texas, Florida. It's all over the USA, but the Northeast, it's starting to get a lot more. What happened in the last 5 years, and then I would say hyper accelerated in the last 2 years really with COVID, is a shift in the market to where the average buyer of my vintage campers is in their 20s and 30s. These are people who maybe don't have the RV owning experience. They're a little more nomadic. They are looking for a more free-range lifestyle, and it's obvious why. The same reason I am interested in them is the idea of having everything you need in a trailer that you can tow around to anywhere, be in a different state every day, go to the beach or the woods, whatever you're into. Something little like this you can manage, you can customize, you can fix it up, paint, a lot of personalization comes in. So there's a lot of different factors in why people like campers, and particularly these vintage campers. Obviously, they have a unique retro look that's in style right now. They appreciate in value generally. They are made, in my opinion, better than new products. Some of the new stuff is catching up. They're doing a lot better job than they had in the 90s and 2000s. I noticed that with some of the new stuff. I also deal with modern trailers. I buy and sell, so I get a lot of modern ones as well. But these vintage ones, this trailer is 50 years old, and here it is, still in service. This one needs some work. We're going to go over that. I want to talk about the pitfalls, what someone new, maybe a young person looking for a vintage camper, might want to look for, should look for, with stuff like this. So the first thing about this trailer, and many that you'll see listed for sale, is that they do not have a title. So what is a title? That is a official certificate of ownership in your name, filed with the state that you live in, with the capital. In our case is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That is designating you the owner. That enables you to register and insure that trailer. Without that title, you cannot register or insure your trailer in Pennsylvania. Now, every state is different. Some states are like Pennsylvania, it is impossible. Some are not. Some, especially with the older trailers, they do allow you some leeway. They allow you to register them without a title. They allow you to obtain a title, apply for a title. Every state is different. So if you're looking at a trailer without a title and you see it for sale, a lot of times they're cheap. Because of that, this one, it is sold today, supposedly, at a lower price because it doesn't have one. Okay, now I want to talk about why a trailer might not have a title. The first thing a lot of people, especially new people, say is, oh, it's stolen. Well, it could be. This one, I mean, I'd like to hope it's not. I've never had that problem. I've had well over 100 of these things. More of the problem is over the years, 50 years, this thing gets passed around from owner to owner. It may go to a campground for 20 years, and while it sits there, you know, someone sells it to their sister, who sells it to her friend, who sells it to their friend, who sells it to some, you know, and the title just doesn't get transferred. They pay very little for the trailer, maybe a few $100s. The trailer's 20, 30 years old at that time. It doesn't have the historical value, so there's no point to the buyer in keeping up with that title. So as these things got passed around, you know, people die, people go to jail, different things happen, and, you know, they get abandoned. The property gets sold with the trailer on it, which is the case with this one. They just don't have a title. Now you can see this has a plate on it. It's an old plate. I didn't even see the date. It looks like 1989. So, I mean, it had a title at one point. You know, that title holder could be dead. That I don't know. This was abandoned on a property that was sold at auction. So it ended up coming to me. I'll post a little video of when I found this trailer too. When we pulled it out, put some new tires on it. So let's get into this one here. What you can do about the title, like I say, in Pennsylvania, not a whole lot. You can go through some back channel stuff where someone out of state can give you a bill of sale, and you can pretend that you're bringing it into PA, and they'll give you a title. It's a gray area of the law to do stuff like that. I've done it a couple times. It does work. And if you have a trailer that's really worth it, it's really your only alternative in PA. So let's dive into this trailer. Now, if you were looking at this trailer for sale, it looks pretty fair. It's solid. It's not beat up on the outside. Obviously, it needs restored. But here is the pitfall of this trailer, and most of these vintage trailers. And that is water. Let's see if we can open the door here. Jeez. So, there we go. So this trailer has extensive water intrusion. So a leak has occurred always around these roof vents, and as a result has flowed to every corner of this trailer. Okay. So if you're new to campers, if you're new to, you're not you know, I'm not going to say you need to be a woodworker, but some carpentry skill, or know somebody with carpentry skill, or at least have an idea. This really is not your trailer. This trailer needs a significant amount of interior work. Okay. There are two ways to approach a restoration like this. There's what I just call a repair, and then there's an actual restoration. So a restoration would involve basically dismantling this camper, taking it down to the frame, removing the skin from the outside. See, these trailers are built from the inside out. All this furniture was in here before the skin was put on the outside. So if you want to repair this properly, you got to reverse engineer. You got to remove that skin. That's going to expose to you the wiring, the insulation, all the mouse critter homes of the last 50 years. All the rotted studs, and you replace them that way. It sounds like a lot of work. It's actually not that bad. The hardest part is putting it all back together, getting everything to line up. You look, there are people who do that. Blows my mind what kind of job they can do. Obviously, you're going to need an indoor space. When you remove the skin of the trailer, all your wood is now exposed to the elements. You're going to need a garage or some kind of covered space to do that while you rebuild your wood frame. So that's one way about it. There is an alternative to that, okay? That would be a rebuild or a repair. So that would mean you rip out all this nasty crap. You're going to want to take out at least some of this cabinetry. You can save it, you can repair it, but you're going to need to take it out to get behind it to repair this framing. You can see underneath this window here, this framing, it's about shot. So, I mean, this window is actually missing. It's right here on the floor. So water's been coming in here, you know. Everything behind there, this all needs to come out, okay, one way or the other. And rebuild this structure behind here. Once again, with this wall here, the back window, commonplace, water runs down the front and back of the trailer. Obviously that allows intrusion, so you have, once again, actually looks like the framing in this corner is okay. Look at that. So you'll luck out with some of it. You can maybe just do some paneling. I always recommend insulating it. You know, this part of the ceiling has held up. This one has been okay. A little bit over here. This cabinet has been delaminated. You know, you could pull it down and reface it or whatever you are able to do. The big thing is right here. This trailer does, the 72 Shasta, it does have a bathroom. It's just a toilet, has a shower with a little wet bath. That is an increasingly popular theme. Obviously, if you can have a bathroom and shower in your camper, you have a fully self-contained unit that you can now live in, or at least stay in for extended periods of time and be sanitary, be clean. No one wants to go to bed dirty. So this one does have the ice box here, nor cold in this one. You can see some of the retro themes going on in this trailer. That's why I really like these. I'm a retro vintage person, just always have been. Yeah, that's why I started really getting into these old campers. Before they were cool, if you will. So now they're cool, which is benefiting me. So, what else can I show you guys with this thing? Let's see. I made a little cheat sheet here to kind of go over the points that I wanted to. So skill set, like I say, you're really going to have at least some knowledge. I mean, do you have to be a professional to redo these? I've seen men and women, young and old, doing restorations, and they've done a beautiful job. Doing just basic rebuilds like this, doing a beautiful job. You can do them. Everyone can, as long as you're just inclined in that skill set, at least to some extent. Next thing I want to talk about here, I'm going to kind of switch orders here. There is an increasing market, I notice, for turning these trailers into mobile bars, photo booths, things other than campers, things other than a recreational vehicle, turning it into a business of some kind, a mobile salon. I've seen different things of that nature. Yeah, I'm all for that. The only thing I'm not is I do see, unfortunately, a lot of beautiful original vintage campers being essentially dismantled, cut apart, modified. It's the same concept if you have a rare, you know, Plymouth Superbird or something, and you start painting it a different color. To each their own. It's not mine. I can't tell you what to do with it, obviously, but there are so many that are in bad shape that you could do that to. This particular trailer, this 1972 model, doesn't have the historical value. It has some. It increasingly is a historically significant trailer. A few people have reached out to me that they wanted to convert it to mobile bar, mobile food vending trailer. I definitely get the appeal. My recommendation to them is there are ones that are already gutted. You can probably get them cheaper. Ones that are in worse shape, don't have the original features. That's going to be more in line. It's going to save you some work and some money, and it's going to preserve the historical value of some of these more intact, restorable units that people are looking for. So one thing real quick, you'll notice on a lot of them for sale that these corners will be split open. I see a lot of people duct tape and aluminum tape and slap tar and sealant on them trying to stop it. What that is there's a piece of wood in here going up, framing. That rots out. Obviously, when that rots out, the screws or rivets, well, the screws in this case, pull away. So you're not going to get away with just sealing that up. If you see a trailer for sale that's had new or old, I've seen a lot with newer trailers, slapped up here on these corners, and they're like, oh yeah, I fixed it. No, you didn't. You put a Band-Aid on it. almost literally, you just put a cover over the damage. So you didn't fix anything. That you're going to need to, from the inside out, redo that framing, or if you can, remove the skin. Okay, so lastly, I want to talk about safety, towing trailers. So obviously 50 years old. So you got 50 years of water, 50 years of winters, freezing and thawing. They're going to take their toll on anything. So you have your front jack. This one's shot. These, you unbolt them, you can buy a new one for like 40 bucks. Okay, not a big deal there. I have a floor jack right now on it. Here on the tongue, you want to make sure your tongue is solid. This one's nice and solid. Right underneath here, you want to make sure, see, your water runs down right here, and that's where the rust. I've seen them with a hole right under here. That is significantly compromising this A-frame structure here. So if you do look at one, I always like to put my fingers under here, make sure we don't have holes. A lot of times you will. If you do have that, you're better to have that trailer hauled. If you can get a welder on site to fix it, you're best not to tow that trailer any more than, you know, down the street. You're risking catastrophe. As I say with campers, you're better safe than very, 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 very sorry. I've had an accident myself. It is not fun. Luckily, nobody was injured. Did destroy a trailer, but what can you do? I mean, all you can do is check. So you have your wheel bearings, obviously, again, 50 years old. These are always greasy. You want to pop this cap off. This one's just they're just a pressure cap. They're not twist on. You just put a channel lock or something to it, pop it right off. You'll have your bearing in there. I did check these. They're nice and greasy. You can slap some grease in there. What I always do when you're pulling a camper, really any camper, it doesn't even have to be vintage, go 10, 15 miles, pull over, put your hand right here. If you feel that it's warm, you got a problem with your bearing doesn't have enough grease, it's heating up. It shouldn't be any different temperature than any other metal part on the trailer, you know, if it's a warm day. But if you put your hand here and it's warm or God forbid hot, end it right now. Get under here, pull that hub off, get some grease in there. You can do it in a parking lot. You don't really need specialized tools. Just save yourself possible catastrophe. Okay, so let's get under here. Another thing I always look at, you have your axle. Does it have any rust holes in it? This one, you can see obviously it's got surface rust, but it's fine. The other one's your spring hanger, your spring shackle and your hanger. So you have your shackle attached to the frame. Your hangers are nice and solid in this trailer. Your leaf springs are nice and solid. A professional restorer, you can replace these pins. A lot of people like to do that as a precaution. I've never done it just to move the thing unless I saw that they were bad. I mean, these ones are fine. Would it hurt to remove them, replace them, you know, wire wheel or sandblast all this down, get some fresh Rust-Oleum on it? Absolutely not. That'd be a great thing to do. But this trailer is nice and solid underneath. You can see it's got a nice solid frame. Okay, so the running gear of this trailer is solid. The body structure, integrity of this trailer is solid. The main concern is that ceiling, is the water intrusion. It has rotted some of the wooden framing. These handles, Bargman L66 in this case, don't yank on them. They break very easily, and you will never find a replacement unless you're ready to sell your kidney on eBay. So same with these badges here. Rock guard, valuable piece. A lot of people ask me if I wanted to part this trailer out. Some of you might be wondering about this one over here. It's sold as well. It's a 61. So it's got 11 more years of weather than the 72. Same deal. Nice trailer, solid chassis. This one needs a total restore. It is not for your rebuilder. It just needs all the skin removed. It just has to happen. This one here, with more of the square angled trailer, a lot easier to work with the square angles rather than the round. You're able to, like I said, the historical significance of this one versus this one. This one's a lot less here. You can modify, put different types of paneling, paint it different colors inside or out. You're not going to be pissing off all the diehards on the vintage trailer groups. You do stuff like that to this one, you'll get blasted in the comment section on when you post and you think that you've done a nice job and you painted it different colors inside, and which some of them do look ridiculous, I must say. Some of them do look very nice. Yeah, I'm more of a purist. This has birch wood. I like the birch wood. It's beautiful. This trailer's tough. This trailer's tough. The birch wood's still beautiful. I love it. I'm a sucker for these things. It can be a piece of shit. I still like it. So, this one's headed to Texas. This one's headed to North Carolina, I believe. So, anyways, yeah, I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you guys got some pointers from this here. If you are a young or old, male or female, looking for a vintage trailer, what to look for, what to avoid, what it takes, what's actually involved in restoring and owning one of these. I know a lot of people are looking at them with their emotions. They're not thinking about the reality. And we all do that. We all do that. Try to think about the facts. Try to think about what it's actually going to take for you to own and restore this trailer. So, thank you all for having a watch. Like I said, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'm always dealing with vintage campers. Get one or two, really almost every week now. So, I plan on building this channel and giving you guys some more content. So, thanks for watching. You have a great day.